Ajik son topic to the sense of collective belonging. History class 10th. Chapter number 2. Nationalism spreads when people begin to believe that they are all a part of same nation. Nationalism मकसद यी कि nationalism वेठन बड़न तेली ये सारे लकन बासी कि तिम हसा एक्सी नेशनस बिलोंग करन यानी तिम हसा एकी नेशनिक पूच. The sense of collective belonging came partly through the experience of the united struggle, but there were also variety of cultural processes through which the nationalism captured people's imagination. History of and fiction, folklore, songs, popular painters, and symbols all played a part in the making of nationalism. दपन नेशनलिज्मस मज क्योंकि अत मज पतिम हिस्ट्री आसान अस यकोट कंस खिलाफ लोड़मुत अस यकोट पन कह कल्चर अस यम जन पुरान सिम्बल्स फोक्स फिक्शनस दास्तान बाकी चीज यम सारी अस वन यह चीज समझान यह चीज कि वी बिलोंग टू वन नेशन. अम पतन क्या यतन कोशिश आमज कर इत कन जन यूरोपियन रेवल्यूशनस मज पर्सोनिफाई आई कर तक रेवल्यूशन अलग अलग पिक्चर मज इत यतन मतलब भारत माता आमज लेडी हावन कोशिश आमज कर कि ये करो पर्सोनिफाई इंडियन स्ट्रगल या इंडियन नेशन. द आइडेंटिटी ऑफ The identity of the nation, as you know, see chapter 1, is most often symbolized in a figure or image. This helps to create an image with which people can identify the nation. It was in the 20th century, with the growth of the nationalism, that the identity of India came to be visually associated with the image Bharat Mata. This image was first created by Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay. Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay bano godnich image Bharat Mata hins. In 1870s, he wrote Vande Matram. Vande Matram ch ami likhmut. Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay Gasyad Thaun Ardashita Sathasmas as a hymn of the motherland. Later, it was included in his novel Ananda Math and widely sung during the Swadeshi movement in Bengal. आइए बंगालस मज अक्सर बेशतर यवन वंदे मातरम गेवन. Moved by Swadeshi movement, Abindranath Tagore painted his famous image of Bharat Mata. Abindranath Tagore kor pata banaw byak picture of Bharat Mata hins. In this painting, Bharat Mata is portrayed as an ascetic figure. She is calm, composed, divine and spiritual. यानी आत्मजोशी खामोश, divine, spiritual, रूहानी ताकत अमसुंद. In subsequent years, the image of Bharat Mata acquired many different forms. Patai ath be changes ke as it circulated in popular prints and was painted by different artists. Devotion to this mother figure came to be seen as evidence of one's nationalism. लिहाजा अमिक एहतराम यह ओस यवन मान कि यह हसा छु nationalism symbol. Ideas of nationalism also developed through the movement of revived Indian folklore. In late 19th century, Indian nationalists began recording folk tales sung by the bards, and they toured villages to gather folk songs and legends. These tales, they believed, gave a true picture of the traditional culture that had been corrupted and damaged by the outside forces. पत कर यम फोकलोर्स वारिया चीज जमा तो यम जन ओतामत मतलब दबावन आमित फॉरेन रूलस मज तो दित यमन नो शक्ल यमन तम सन सोन nationalism strong go. It was essential to preserve this folk tradition in order to discover one's national identity and restore a sense of pride in one's past. तो यम folklore क्या जमा करना तो रसित थावना अमि सतन छु असि पनुन पास्ट युस जन सोन ग्लोरियस पास्ट ओस सु छु असि रिवाइव गसन तो अमि सतन छु असि तरन फिक्र कि पत कालि क्या छु असि ٲسۍمٕتۍ. In Bengal, Rabindranath Tagore himself began collecting balls, nursery rhymes, and myths, and led the movement for folklore. Itna se Bharat Mata Hinzi picture. Notice that the mother figure here is shown as dispensing learning, food, and clothing. The mala in one hand emphasizes her ascetic quality. Rabindranath Tagore, like Ravi Verma before him, tried to develop a style of painting that could be seen as truly Indian. Yetnas Jawaharlal Nehru, a popular painter. Nehru is here shown holding an image of Bharat Mata Jameson and the map of India close to his heart. In a lot of popular print, nationalist leaders are shown offering their heads to Bharat Mata, the idea of sacrifice for the mother and the powerful within the popular imagination. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru Chitinasan Bharat Mata Pannis Sinas Sikan. In Madras, Nitesa Sastri published a massive 4-volume collection of Tamil folk tales, The Folklore of Southern India. He believed that folklore was national literature. It was the most trustworthy manifestation of the people's real thoughts and characteristics. As the national movement developed, nationalist leaders became more and more aware of such icons and symbols in unifying people and inspiring in them feeling of nationalism. During the Swadeshi movement in Bengal, a tricolor flag, red, green, and yellow, was designed. It had 8 lotus representing 8 provinces of British India and a crescent moon representing Hindus and Muslims. इथे कहीं आए पता folklores ते आए जमा करना Tamil folklores तथा नाव दिन Nitasa Sastri Sindhis जरिए एम publish तम सातन folklore of Southern India. इथे कहीं आओ अख ट्राइकलर अख तैयार करना तथ उस रेड ग्रीन तो येलो कलर तथ मज 8 लोटस तम हावन 8 प्रोविंसेस तम सात जन ब्रिटिश इंडिया अंडर यानी 8 सोब बे हावन क्रिसेंट मून सो हावन हिंदू मुस्लिम यूनिटी. By 1921, Gandhiji had designed the Swaraj flag. Padbano Gandhiji and Swaraj flag kurtimo design. It was again a tricolor, red, green, and white, and had spinning wheel. Atmaso spinning wheel under in the center, representing the Gandhian ideal of self-help. Spinning wheel, self-help. Carrying the flag, holding aloft during the marches became the symbol of defiance. The lihaza us यूं ये flag पति वन अक्सर protestant मस लहरावना. Another means of creating the feeling of nationalism through the reinterpretation of the history. By the end of the 19th century, many Indians began feeling that to instill a sense of pride in the nation, India's history had to be thought about differently. The British saw Indians as backward and primitive. क्योंकि ब्रिटिशन तम सात बासन हिंदुस्तान backward तो primitive यानी प्रान लुक incapable of governing themselves यम नसा हेकन पन्निस पानस कश पे गवर्नमेंटस लायक छन यम के. In response to Indians began looking into the past, discovered India great achievements. तो अमकिस जवाबस मज कोर हिंदुस्तान क्यों लुको ये जन पतिम ग्लोरी प्राने वक्त ये जन इंडिया पन यम सात इंडिया रूल करन यथ पन एरियास मज तो यतिक अचीवमेंट्स यम जन तम सात साइंटिफिक अचीवमेंट्स मैथमेटिक्स मज यम जन अचीवमेंट्स तम आय ग्लोरीफाई करने. Wrote about the developments in the ancient times when the art and architecture, science and mathematics, religion and culture, law and philosophy, crafts and trade had flourished. Yim satna si yim sari cheez yeti. This glorious time in their view was followed by the history of decline when India was colonized. The تَمہِ ساتہٕ ٲسۍ واریاہ ہندوستان اوس واریاہ ترقی منٛز تَمہِ ساتہٕ سب کانٹیننٹ آف انڈیا تہٕ پتہٕ ییٚمہِ ساتہٕ کولونیل روٗل گٔے باقٕے روٗل گٔے ییٚلہِ روٗل کوٚرُکھ انڈیاہس پٮ۪ٹھ تہٕ تِم آیہِ پتہٕ یِم چیٖز گٔے ڈِکلاین یعنی یِم چیٖز گٔے پتہٕ کم قۄدرٔتی کتھا چھِ ییٚلہِ نہٕ پتہٕ حکوٗمتٕے پنٕنۍ روٗز تہٕ لہذا یُس زن ییٚتِچ گلوری ٲس سۄ گٔے ختم. These nationalist historians urge the readers to take pride in India's great achievements in the past. یِمو ووٚن کہِ اَسہِ چھُ پنُن پٔتِم پتھ کال ہسا چھُ اَسہِ واریاہ رِچ اوسمُت یِمن چیٖزن منٛز کلچرس منٛز فلاسفی منٛز لاہس منٛز میتھمیٹکسس منٛز ساینسس منٛز آرکِٹیکچرس منٛز تہٕ لہذا أسۍ کرو رِوایو سُہ أسۍ دِمو تتھ بیٚیہِ نظر تمہِ سۭتۍ بنہِ اَسہِ سٹرانگ بیس. These efforts to unify people were not without problems. When past being glorified was Hindus. تہٕ اتھ منٛز تہِ آیہِ کینٛہہ مُشکلات یُس زن یہِ پاسٹ اوس تمہِ ساتہٕ چوٗنٛکہِ أسۍ ہندوٗز روٗل کران لہذا آیہِ اتھ منٛز تِمے چیٖز زیادٕ. When the images celebrated were drawn from the Hindu iconography, then people of other communities felt left out. تہٕ یِم زن باقٕے کمنٹین ہٕنٛدۍ لُکھ ٲسۍ تِمن گٔے تھوڑا باسے تِم آیسولیٹ گژھان اتھ منٛز. تہٕ کنکلوٗجن کیٛاہ چھُ اَسہِ اتھ منٛز پتہٕ پیج نمبر 49 یہِ lesson کرون أسۍ وۄنۍ summarize. A growing anger against the colonial government was thus bringing together various groups and classes of Hindus into a common struggle for freedom. In the first half of the 20th century, the Congress under the leadership of Mahatma Gandhi tried to channel people's grievances into organized movements for independence. تہٕ یتھ منٛز چھُ یہِ چیٖز کہِ گۄڈنیُک یُس زن فٔسٹ ہاف اوس 20th century ہُنٛد اتھ منٛز کیٛاہ گوٚو برٛنگِنگ ٹُگیدر لُکھ آیہِ سٲری أکِس جنڈس تل تہٕ کامن سٹرگل کٔر یِمو سٹرگل آف فریڈم تہٕ گاندھی جی یس انڈر تہٕ لُکھ آیہِ یونایٹ کرنہٕ تِہنٛز یِم زن گریوینسز آسہٕ یِم زن تِہنٛدۍ مُشکلات ٲسۍ شکایتہٕ آسہٕ تِم آیہِ اتھ منٛز انکلوٗڈ کرنہٕ یعنی یُس زن انگریزن خلاف موٗمینٹ آیہِ چلاونہٕ تہٕ پرٛٮ۪تھ کٲنٛسہِ ہٕنٛز رِپرٛزنٹیشن میلے تتھ منٛز چوٗنٛکہِ ہر کانٛہہ طبقہٕ اوس گژھان تِہنٛدِ سۭتۍ شِکار پرٛٮ۪تھ کٲنٛسہِ ٲسۍ پنٕنۍ پنٕنۍ مُصیٖبت تِم آیہِ برونٛہہ کُن اننہٕ تمہِ سۭتۍ کیٛاہ گٔے اکھ یوٗنٹی اکھ گٔے پٲدٕ یِمو ییٚلہِ وُچھ یہِ دُشمن سون چھُ اکوے. Through such movements, the nationalists tried to forge the national unity, but as we have seen, diverse groups and classes participated in these movements and varied aspirations and expectations, and their grievances were wide-ranging. Freedom from colonial rule also meant different things for different people. The Congress continuously attempted to resolve the differences and ensure that the demands of one group did not alienate the another. This is precisely why the unity within the movement often broke down. The high points of the Congress activity and the nationalist unity were followed by the phases of disunity and the inner conflict between the groups. In other words, what was emerging was a nation with many voices wanting freedom from colonial rule. گوٚو اَتہِ توٚر اَسہِ فِکرِ کہِ یِم زن یِم الگ الگ طبقن ہٕنٛدۍ لُکھ ٲسۍ تِمن ٲس الگ الگ ڈِمانڈ تہٕ تِم ڈِمانڈ آیہِ اتھ منٛز گٔے کینٛہہ مُشکلات تہِ تِم آیہِ تِتھ کٔنۍ آرگنایز کرنہٕ کُنہِ ساتہٕ ٲس أکۍ سٕنٛز ڈِمانڈ گژھان بیٚیِس خلاف بیٚیہِ سٕنٛز ڈِمانڈ بیٚیِس خلاف لہذا اوس کُنہِ ساتہٕ یہِ اتھ منٛز پانہٕ ؤنۍ ژۄکیر تہِ گژھان مگر سُہ سورُے ترٲیِتھ گٔے پتہٕ یوٗنایٹ یِم سٲری گرُپ یعنی کہِ پرٛٮ۪تھ کانٛہہ آو اتھ منٛز ایکامڈیٹ کرنہٕ تہٕ کُلس پٮ۪ٹھ بنے یہِ اکھ پتہٕ موٗمینٹ یُس زن کولونیل حکوٗمتس خلاف ٲس. امہِ پتہٕ کیٛاہ سا چھُ اَسہِ لۄکُٹ مۄکُٹ ییٚتٮ۪نس بیٛاکھ سب ٹاپِک اکھ سُہ گوٚو کویٹ انڈیا موٗمینٹ. The failure of Tipu's mission and the effects of the World War II created widespread discontent in India. This led Gandhiji to launch the movement calling the complete withdrawal of the British from the India. The Congress Working Committee in its meeting in Wardha on 14th July 1942 passed the historic Quit India resolution demanding the immediate transfer of power to Indians in यह गस याद थवन क्विट इंडिया मूवमेंट आई कत रेजोल्यूशन 14 जुलाई 1942 मज वारदाहस मज कांग्रेस मीटिंग गई कांग्रेस कमेटी हज तथ मज आव क्विट इंडिया मूवमेंट डिक्लेयर करना कि इंडिया त्रो सा बिल्कुल वो यलै कि ओतमत थोड़ा थोड़ा डिमांड गसन अत मज आई क्लियर कट डिमांड करने ये On 8th of August 1942 in Bombay, All India Congress Committee endorsed the resolution which called the non-violent mass struggle on the widest possible scale throughout the country. It was on the occasion that Gandhiji delivered the famous Do or Die speech. Gandhiji and Do or Die यानी मरो या जियो. तो पगह हेक तुह क्वेश्चन यह डू आर डाई कम सा वर्ड्स गांधी जी यह कोर उमो पत मुंबई मज ब्या पत इजलास गो कांग्रेस द कॉल फॉर क्विट इंडिया मूवमेंट ऑलमोस्ट brought the state machinery to a standstill in large parts of the country. People voluntarily threw themselves into the thick of the movement. People observed hartalas and demonstrations, and processions were accompanied national songs, slogans. The movement was truly mass movement which brought into the ambit of thousands of ordinary people, namely students, workers, peasants. It also saw the active participation of leaders, namely Jai Prakash Narayan, Uruna Asif Ali, Ram Manohar Lohia, and many women such as Matangini Hazara in Bengal, Kanal Kalata Baroa in Assam, Rama Devi in Odisha. The British responded with much force, yet it took more than a year to suppress the movement. तो गो अम सात पत यानी यह फाइनल अटेम्प्ट अमुक डू आर डाई क्विट इंडिया मूवमेंट अम सात आव गई सारी लुक यूनाइट तो ब्रिटिशो करो अत मज सप्रेस कर कोशिश तो मगर तेल लोग तिमन वारिया टाइम तकरीबन ईयर खुद ज्यादा तो नेक्स्ट पढ़ो पत कित गई ब्रिटिश मजबूर तिमो त्रो इंडिया सो पढ़ो ब्रहमिस टॉपिकस मज फिलहाल यतनसन यह चीज़ इत कन वोत सोन यह टॉपिक आज अंद वन तुलो नेक्स्ट टॉपिकस मज अमिक यम जन क्वेश्चन आंसर्स